Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS Europe race. Riders are about to be getting underway in the A category. Looks like we've got 33 racers signed up for a half pretzel course out there today. About 14 seconds or so, they're just in the starting gate for the A riders. We also have an avatar hanging out in the B category, which will be taken off in about 3 minutes from now. So about 3 minutes after the A racers get out on course. Once we have covered the A category, which we'll be doing about 4.0 watts per kilogram or higher, we as well as the B category, which is going to be that 3.2 to about 3.9 watts per kilogram, we will jump right on into the C and the D categories as well as they finish up their races. So it will be 32 kilometers, 20 miles total. It's going to be a very difficult race, I believe, out there today. So right from the get-go, we do have taken off from the start right now. We do have, it looks like our Henry right along with an innovation cycle, actually, AD Annabelle here in the KISS A, as well as Szerzynski, a well-known rider coming out of Poland for Team Poland. Henry, they're coming out of Ireland. We do have an international field here, it looks like, definitely, as usual, out on the course here within the A race. D Gates here coming out of Great Britain up toward the front as well. We do have Fleetwood from Vision Cycling. Looks like there is a Vision train hanging out there with McGovern as well. If you're unfamiliar with Zwift and Zwift Racing, this is an event that is out on Zwift, and there are teams that are in this event. As you can see, Team ODZ on the right-hand side of the Team ODZ where my cursor is there. Vision there where my cursor is there. France as well. FRA is in the team name there. So Team PL, Team Poland for Szerzynski there. Each one of the riders, if they are part of a team, have put next to their name on the right-hand side of, well, when they actually sign in and put and go to their menu, they go ahead and sign in and put their team name in parentheses or brackets, as you can see right there on the right-hand side. So you can identify what team they're part of by that. They also tend to use a certain kit a lot of times for the team. Team Poland, as you can see, using the in-game because it's got the red and white for their country flag. We also have, though, other teams that do have their kit in game, and so you can see the KISS racing team, actually the race that is being put on right now, the KISS EU Europe race here, they also have a kit and team in game, the KRT KISS racing team, as you can see here with Sonic the Hedgehog, the in-game name there up toward the front as they head into Ocean Boulevard. They will be going into Ocean Boulevard and taking a left-hand turn up toward the pretzel course. In the other teams that are represented, I do see Team Experimental with Ploesmers here, and definitely one to be watching out for. A very strong climber, Joachim Ploesmers out of the Netherlands. Definitely one of the strongest climbers we know of out on Zwift. Kalen is in here as well. Tom Old Kalen, definitely one to be watching out for, I think. On the climb, a mountain biker in real life. I think an endurance mountain biker, actually. So definitely another one to watch out for. The B riders did just get going, actually, too. So let's go ahead and see what's happening with their start as we wait for the riders in the A category to head on over to the Watopia mountain climb. It looks like it is a fast and furious start as usual. We do have Turmont up toward the front for Vision. Nagy is in here as well. We do have, it looks like, our Gildal also out of Norway. BJ Alfonso is here for Team PTZ. Actually, another team that we did not mention as we didn't see any in the front runners of the A category, but as you can see, BJ hanging out in that team kit for Team PTC that is in game, followed very closely by the Vision rider there, Remy actually. Nagy just a little ways off the front from them, has a little over about 3-4 meters, so there is a draft currently on Nagy. If this is your first time watching racing out on Zwift, as we are being broadcast over to the Zwift Facebook page as well as our Twitch channel and our YouTube right now, event that you can join in order to get into a Zwift race is just like joining any other group ride event. When you log into Zwift, you go ahead and pair your devices, and then you head into the next screen, which shows all of the riders that are going to be nearby you, as well as the riders that, the riders that are not nearby you, but all the riders that are on course are showed right in front of you. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, you will see the events that are coming up. You can join events. The events will be group rides, which you can join actually after they've started or during this or before they start. But races you cannot join unless they have not started yet. You go ahead and join those, and you end up in the piers or the starting gate area. If you're out on Watopia as they were today, it is the piers, and they hold you in that starting gate until it is a go, and then from that point you take off, and it is a race to the finish line. Again, the categories, A categories is assuming that riders can hold 4.0 watts per kilogram or higher. The B category that we're watching right now with T Nagy leading it out is a 3.2 to 3.9 or 4.0, right around there, watts per kilogram is the assumption. So the idea is that you join a category that you are able to hold that power, so you're not just walking away or getting dropped immediately from the main group out on course. The C category that we will be covering a little bit toward the end of the race today, they are going to be holding 2.5 to 3.2 watts per kilogram, and the D category is 2.5 or under. So there are race categories for everybody out on Zwift. Let's get back with the A category riders, as these riders have taken off, and it looks like we've got a solid group that's going to just kind of be hanging out with each other, it looks like here, holding hands a little bit, as we like to say, until they actually hit the climb proper, and I have a feeling we're going to see some serious fireworks. Speaking of fireworks, though, let's get right into the A category race. As you can see here, they are starting their climb, 7% gradient as they start the Watopia mountain climb. R. Henry here up toward the front, coming out of Ireland, 6.1 watts per kilogram. Solid effort. As we look over his shoulder, he's got a little bit of a gap over Innovation Cycles. Actually, now Innovation getting right on that wheel, going right on by. Innovation is a newer team to the world of Zwift, and they have been adopting the Alienware kit, as Team Experimental got their own. Used to use this kit, but have gotten their own that's a little similar, but has the dark alien head with some green flares shooting out from it. As you can see right here is Joachim, I believe that would be from Team Experimental. There's the difference between the two. As you can see, the Innovation rider up to the front here, D.A.D. Annabelle. Then we do have followed very closely Team Poland with Szerzynski here, one to be watching out for the win today. Amblard is there as well from Team France, hanging out in that red, white, and blue kit. Bikes and Beers looks what the French team has adopted as their team kit. Fleetwood making his way to the front here, 180 beats per minute. Going to be a difficult day, I think, for Fleetwood to hold on to this front group. We'll see if he can make it happen here. 5.4 watts per kilogram, 180 beats per minute. Definitely a solid effort so far from him. So if you are hanging out over at the Facebook or the Twitch, we do have, I believe, the social media integration turned on. So if you'd like to chat to us, make sure to say hello, and we will definitely be grabbing your comments and chatting with you guys and gals as much as we possibly can. I am bringing up we are getting a whole lot of viewers over at the YouTube as well. We don't usually hold on to the YouTube feed, but we will see if we can bring up the chat there as well, and make sure to get some interaction with everyone over there. We are seeing Nathan, your commentary is far better than Eurosport's brilliant and exciting Julian Ryder. Thanks a lot. I appreciate the comment there. I don't know if I would say I would necessarily want to encourage those comments, but I appreciate it so much, very much, Julian Ryder. I feel the ZTR, Tom O'Kaland is saying, oh my gosh. And so, yeah, I definitely think racing back to back, Tom, is going to be a difficult day. Just so everybody knows, T. Kalen in the race right here. It looks like racing for KRT in that KRT kit as they come over the bridge here, has already done the the XRS ZTR race right before this, so it's definitely going to be a difficult day to hang on to the front runners who may be a little rested compared to what Kalen is. I have a feeling that maybe Plusmers also threw down some solid efforts right before this, being his team's race. I'm going to go ahead and open up ZwiftPower.com. If you haven't checked out ZwiftPower.com, you can head on over there and actually click on the race that is currently live and see the results from it live right now. And that's actually where we will be pulling the live results from up above us as soon as they do update. But we do also have, it looks like, results from the XRS race. And they did, I believe, Volcano Flat just prior to this. So it sounds like Tom of Kalen did do the Volcano Flat just prior to this race. And he is hanging on with this front group. I'm going to take a look and see what kind of results happened in it. It looks like Dafford Williams followed by Joe Hawksworth, and then Cliven was in that race as well up at the front. I'm not seeing Tom in the results just yet. I'm going to wait and see what's happening with that. Looks like Casey Shum was hanging out in that race as well. It doesn't look like anybody in the front end of this race currently that I can see was a part of it. Maybe Tom, for some reason, just needs an update to the results for him, as he's telling me over at the Facebook that he was a part of the race here. So Zinsky now 6.6 watts per kilogram as they head into the old village out on the Watopia climb. Looks like we do have a lead group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 riders or so, with the Hedgehog just hanging on to the back here at 158 beats per minute. Fleetwood 5.3, 175. Able to bring that heart rate back down a little bit, but slipping off the back just a little. And these little gaps really do matter when it gets into a climbing situation like this. 2 seconds or so is more like 10, maybe 5 to 10 if you were out on a flat, because those gaps, those meters to make up, are absolutely huge. Huge efforts. Just increasing 1 to 2 watts per kilogram for a moment when you're at this kind of effort can be extremely strenuous. And as you can see here with the Hedgehog here, just hanging on to the back here, doesn't want the screws to be turned too much more. Plusmers, knowing this is a moment of truth out on course, bumps it up into that 9 watts per kilogram or so, going into those orange numbers. Kalen here now bumping it up as well, trying to hang on to those wheels, knowing that Henry and McGovern now starting to fall off at the back of the pack now. So Zinsky at the front now, 5.7 watts per kilogram, 6.0 watts per kilogram. Looking like he is going to try and drop a few of these riders off, as we were talking about earlier. Fleetwood here, 4.7 watts per kilogram, 179 beats per minute. Going to have to drop off with, it looks like, the Hedgehog and ride their own race at this point, as the strongmen are starting to make themselves known as they make their way through some of the steeper parts out on course. It does flatten out just a tad, not completely flat, but does go down to that 1.6% grade, as you can see, but then it kicks again very sharply into a 5, 6, and now it's going to go into even 7% gradient all the way until they hit the old castle up on the Watopia climb. So we do have an establishment, it looks like here, of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders now at the front, with Henry. Our Henry here out of Ireland trying to get back to the main group, about 1 second back. And we do see Plusmers kicking again 8 watts per kilogram, just making sure those wheels don't go much of anywhere. Zinsky really setting it at a solid effort now, 5.6, 5.5. Hedgehog now just a little ways back with Fleetwood hanging on to that wheel, and they're going to be racing against each other. We do have just a little ways back here. It looks like Shilon and Morehouse making up a chase group would be the third, I believe, chase group out on course. This will be just outside of the top 10 today. Let's get into the B category again, though, as they are making their way toward the main over the bridge now. Actually, excuse me, making their way over the bridge out on course here. And I do see in the B category, there are some separations just starting to develop. As I can see here, we do have M. Wood about, it looks like 6 seconds up right now from Tiago. And then Brian Graytrick, actually good to see him out on course here from the TRCC group. They're hanging out in that court kit, it looks like. And just a little ways back, just right on his wheel, actually, is going to be Remy Fledgedell. I'm going to say, excuse me on the pronouncement there. I always get that one incorrectly. It's that F to the J right next to each other. Jay Phillips then followed by Termont there, also from Vision Sight, coming out of Belgium, and Tomlinson, and then Bierlein coming out of Germany. with a solid effort here, riding in that TS Bikes kit. Hannon right on his wheel. It looks like there's a little bit of separation in this B category, though, between the riders. Wood now solid, though. Emma Wood here, 4.6 watts per kilogram up toward the front with a solid effort here, able to break away by about 7 seconds. According to, it looks like our live results above us here are not updating, so I'm going to have to wait and see what's going on. Maybe there were no watchers through that section. Of course, I'm going to double check with ZwiftPower.com and see if they're coming through over on ZwiftPower.com, and I will be able to bring those results to you live, at least tell you what is going on with some of the watts per kilogram and some of the other information live from the riders. It does not look like it's updating actually over on the live tab, so I have a feeling maybe a few of the watchers have been not populated over on this section of the course. We'll have to wait and see if they do update anytime soon for us out here today. So let me see if I can bring in our social media integration here, as we did have it up, but for some reason not coming through here. Looks like Juice Train hanging out over at the Twitch channel, making some comments. Good to see you, Juice Train, hanging out over there. Do have quite a few viewers over at the Twitch channel. If you'd like to hang out over at the Twitch channel and chat, you can find us over at twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live. If you want updates of any time that we go live with any of our racing, riding, social rides, group workouts, make sure to head on over to twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live and give us a follow over there, as it will give you a live notification to your email or push notifications to your phone if you download the app anytime we go live over on Twitch. It looks like now up toward the front of the race right now, we do have Strzezinski right along with Henry, and then Plusmer's kicking into 9 watts per kilogram. This may be an attack or maybe just an attempt to stay on terms, though, with the front of the race. He's not actually attacking, knowing that Henry, it looks like here, and a few of the others are trying to go off the front. He's just following the moves there. It does look like McGovern has gone off the back a little bit, trying to stay away, it looks like, from Hedgehog as well as Fleetwood, but it is still this lead group of 6 at the front here, making their way up the Watopia mountain climb in the A category right now. We're going to see if this is going to get split apart, as the next really difficult place out on course definitely is going to be the little tunnel that's up ahead here right after they go through this snowy section. And we can go ahead and see what the snow is going to look like here from the helicopter. They're about to head into this fog and snow, and our Henry now starting to turn the screws here at about 187 beats per minute, 5.5 watts per kilogram. Definitely a difficult day on the bike right now. 188. This seems to be a moment that he's really trying to break these boys. I mean, 188 beats per minute coming from Henry here. Let's see if we can get an update here from ZwiftPower.com. With some of the live results, I'd be able to see what his max heart rate may be. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to get that, so let's go ahead and bring in what is happening without the Zwift Power above us there. Looks like then Kalen just hanging on the back here. There is 4 meters, though, between Kalen and Plusmers. Kalen may be in a little bit of trouble here, as he has allowed a little bit of a gap to open up just for a moment, but now gets right back onto the wheel. Plusmers there as well, 8.4, it looks like, watts per kilogram. Strzezinski now kicking it into 8 again. Henry just setting it at a solid 5.3, 5.5 all day long. Now 190 beats per minute. This boy is really hammering at the front now and wants to break these boys long before the top and create a gap. Now the thing is, if you do get away out on the Watopia climb, it is a difficult day to hold off a chasing group. So if he does get away, he's going to need to hold on to a gap of, I would say, about 30 seconds, or at least create a gap of about 30 seconds before they head downhill, because on a downhill section, on the pretzel course. If you have any kind of group with you, you can definitely close gaps down very, very quickly, as groups, as we know, out on Zwift travel extremely quickly. As you can see here, McGovern here, unable to hold off Fleetwood and Hedgehog. It looks like 3.9 watts per kilogram might be in his best interest, actually, to allow Fleetwood and Hedgehog to come back to his wheel and work together. Maybe pick off of a few who drop off from that front group, who are really putting everything they've got into the pedals right now, just to hang on with the pace being sent by Innovation and Strzezinski and Omblard at the front of the race right now. Let's go ahead and see what the comments are over at the face of the book. Marcelo is saying great power output there. And we've got, let's see here, a few other comments coming through. It's good to see Zwift hanging out in the broadcast as well. Let's see who else. How far is the race yet? It's going to be 32 kilometers, 20 miles. Thanks a lot, Zwift, for updating everybody out on that. Dominic Donald saying, awesome stuff, Annabelle. Go Innovation Cycles. We do see a lot of the Innovation Cycles boys hanging out in the broadcast from the new team. They do seem to love the broadcast and definitely showing up to a lot of races lately. Suddenly coming out in force just in the last month. It's been really cool to see new teams getting involved and encouraging each other on. They've also been running some really cool group rides, it seems like, and workouts, actually. Definitely something to watch out for the events out on Zwift. The Innovation Cycles boys definitely doing a great job of letting their presence be known and being a great community addition, and members doing a great job serving the community with group rides, as well as getting involved in the races at the front end. Strzezinski now turning the screws as they head into this downhill section. They're going to head on over the bridge here. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a good shot from the helicopter view. They head over this old rickety bridge, and then they got a couple of kickers in succession. I think it goes into a solid 8-9% gradient, then another downhill, and then another uphill gradient before a longer, about 30-second to 1 minute downhill, and then the final climb up toward the Epic KOM banner. But then they still have the climb up to the tower, which is the absolute suffering, up into that 13, 14, 15, 17% gradient, I think, even at one point. Kalen, as we were saying earlier, already doing the ZTR, now is going to fall off pace, and it's just going to be a goal to hold off the chasers for Tom Olaf Kalen today. So it looks like another one bites the dust off the back here. Strzezinski with Pluzmers then. Looks like Innovation now throwing down an arrow power up, maybe in a little bit of bother there, throwing down that arrow power up just to hang on, maybe just reserving a little bit of energy, waiting for an attack, that we'll have to see what Annabelle can pull off here today. Back to the B category then, as we've had them waiting for a couple of developments in the B category. So we do have them here now, as we do have M. Wood here, 4.0 watts per kilogram. Not exactly sure what kind of wattage he's held so far, but we do have Tiago here 28 seconds back with Klevstad, as well as Bierlein. Gannon is there, as well as Remy there from Vision. Great Trick. Actually a solid group of, it looks like 7+ riders or so here, making their way up the mountain climb, actually. And if this group can stick all together, Tiago, though, going off the front here with a solid effort coming out of Portugal. This may be one of the breaking moments for this group. Let's see if he can go get away and catch Wood, who is about 4.4 watts per kilogram, currently 34 seconds up the mountain. There is a lot of climbing left still out here on course today, as the tower climb really can be the place where people can make up the most amount of time out on course, as it's got that 17% gradient. It's about a 3 to 5 minute climb, maybe more than that, and an all-out effort over the top of that at those really steep gradients. Definitely is a place that you can make up all kinds of time that is made, that people put into you on the Watopia mountain climb proper. So Joseph Shepard saying, what if I ate one pie but I told you I ate 10? What's going on here, Joseph Shepard? Good to see you over at the Facebook. And Nori Throw saying, do riders have their turbo trainer set to 100% realism to race? Watts are watts, so some people do, some people don't. The main concern a lot of times, not so much whether or not the realism is whether or not they're feeling the actual gradient. A lot of times that they do set that to that so that they're getting the best workout that they possibly can. But the main concern here is even if you're on a smart trainer or a traditional trainer, or as a lot of people call them, dumb trainer, you definitely have to put out the watts in order to get to the top of these climbs as quickly as you possibly can. And so as long as their watts are reading out correctly, that is going to be the main concern, because essentially, even if you did have the force pushing against you from the smart trainer, you just have to shift around to find the correct gearing to spin out at the same that somebody might be doing on their traditional trainer with just a power meter. So watts are watts, and that's what really matters, is putting those out at the 350 that we're seeing right now from Annabelle, as well as Szerzynski and Pluzmers. If you do turn it down, I guess you could get a little less force work, but at the same time, there's an argument to be made that if you don't have a force to push against, it's actually at a disadvantage to not create as much wattage. A lot of times the best 20-minute powers that you see from individuals are out on real climbs in real life, and that is going to be to your advantage to have force to push against a lot of times in order to create more power. And so, right, that's what I meant. What's going on here, Joseph Shepard? Good to see you. Do you know how much these riders actually weigh, or is it an honor system? It's definitely an honor system out there currently. There is, though, Zada approval, definitely for those that are at the front end, the pointy end of the race that we watch a lot of times. Zada, the Zwift Anti-Doping Association, a community organization, not developed specifically by Zwift, but by the community. When riders are putting out over 5 watts per kilogram, they do get tagged by ZwiftPower.com, and they need to prove their weight as well as their ability to put out those kinds of watts in real life with a strain gauge power meter. And if they do not, they actually get removed from the results until they do so after putting out over 5 watts per kilogram. That is a very narrow field, and that is understood, but if they were going to go ahead and verify every single rider, it would turn into a full-time organization and job. So but we do have a lot of Zada approved individuals. You can check out zwiftpower.com, head on over there, and you can see Zada badges on people's profiles. Actually, definitely a great job that Zwift Power has done in conjunction with a whole bunch of community members helping to manage all of that. Up at the front now, we do see Szerzynski here with it looks like Annabelle, 168 beats per minute, right along Szerzynski, following very closely R. Henley and then Omblard. Another point on that too is a lot of these racers are getting invited to real world events, Joseph Shepard. With those invitations going out to some real world events, an event that was recently announced would be the CVR London event that's coming up on June 6th. A lot of invitations went out to that real world event where people will be riding right next to each other, side by side on verified trainers, way into those at those events. And a lot of these riders are A category riders at the front of these races where people are like, whoa, those watts are out of control. Are you kidding me? What's going on here? Well, they're going to show up in a real arena right next to each other and battle it out and show that they've got those watts to give. Another thing would be the eCrit series that's going on with KISS and Zwift right now, that's going on with the Aussie and New Zealand crowd, and they're going to be ramping up throughout the whole of the Australian winter in order to battle it out for a few spots on the main stage for a live event there as well. And that will be a proving ground as well for these riders to show that they can throw down the watts that they've been throwing down in the eCrit series. So there are some cool things happening with both real life events mixed with the virtual events in order to verify a lot of the efforts that are going out here. And I think a lot of the community has done a really good job of checking in on all that, and over time just kind of weeding things out. As it's a very committed community, as it is in most of cycling, really gets to know each other well, and you kind of start to spot things and look into things and figure out what's going on between all of the riders over time. So Szerzynski now at the front, though, it looks like 5.8 watts per kilogram, very solid effort, followed by Pluzmers here at 7.2 7.0 watts per kilogram or so coming out of the Netherlands. And it looks like 183 beats per minute, able to drop off our Henley with Armblad now, coming out of France, just about 1 second. But 1 second over a 14% gradient is absolutely huge. This is going to end up being about a 20-second gap, most likely, when they come up over the top of the tower climb. This is the most important point out on course, besides the descent in the flat, as they head down to the second half of the pretzel, and whether or not you are with a group. But this definitely is the point where you can win the race. It would be the tower climb. These two get away. I have a feeling this will be the lead group for the win. It'll be a battle between Plusmers and Szerzynski toward the finish line today. Let's go ahead and check out what's going on with the B category as these boys are making their way up over the top of the tower. In the B category, we do have, it looks like M. Wood still with a solid 117 or so. It looks like he's going to need an A upgrade, I have a feeling, as he is about 50 seconds up from Tiago, who's been putting out over 4 watts per kilogram for the duration of this climb. As we were saying, maybe this rider is used to riding in the packs and on the flatter sections of the course, and as soon as he got the force from that climb, 4.9 watts per kilogram, 4.5, he was putting out more and more than he is used to, or maybe he's a newer rider to the world of Zwift racing, so he's definitely going to be jumping into an A category upgrade. ZwiftPower.com also keeps track of what kind of watts per kilogram the riders do put out for the duration of the race, as well as Zwift does, and at the end of the race, if you see that you've put out wattage that is in another category, above the category that you're in, definitely jump into that category for an upgrade. Zwift Power will take riders that are putting out over category limits, and will ask you to upgrade and relegate you if you don't. So make sure you do so. Tiago, you want to make everybody's race as fair as possible, and make sure that people are racing against each other in a similar category to what they can handle. We do have, it looks like Klefstad along with Tiago here battling it out to the top of the Watopia climb here for the epic KOM, and we do see it looks like 5.1 watts per kilogram. This is the final gradient at 6% gradient or so for Klefstad and Tiago now coming out of Portugal. 4.2 watts per kilogram getting dropped off by about 2 seconds, so it looks like Klefstad out of Norway now able to make a break here. We do have Remy here, looks like able to turn a couple of screws on Phillips and Bayerlin, and the German rider here now, though, at 4.2 watts per kilogram, just starting to close the gap down, it looks like here. 13 miles per hour coming from him. It looks like Remy also at 4.1 watts per kilogram. Phillips now going right on by, trying to close the gap down to Tiago here, who's going to take the epic KOM in the amongst these riders right now. 4.5, 4.3 watts per kilogram, but that is not the finish of the climb, so you don't want to throw all your chips into this one basket, as although Klefstad may come up and over the top here at 198 beats per minute, he's got to take a left-hand turn over to that tower climb and still continue on after maxing it out at that huge amount of wattage and high heart rate here from Klefstad. Real quickly, before as Klefstad does crest on over about 3-second gap, kicks into 9 watts, 10 watts per kilogram, then 199 beats per minute, looking for a super fast climb out on the epic KOM. It does look like he pulled a 21:57 super fast time, it looks like here, probably just under 5 watts per kilogram for that climb. I think probably like a 4.5 or so if he's pulling almost a 22 over the top of the climb there. Now backing off to about 3.1, 3.2 watts per kilogram. Tiago now as well, 2.2. They were all just looking for that epic KOM time. As you can see here, there is a 22:05, 22:04 from Phillips. Bearline there at a 22:06, but back at the front of the A race now, they have crested over the top of the tower climb. Szerzynski now making an attack on the downhill actually here. Plusmer seeing the attack, bumps into a sprint effort, 10 watts per kilogram, grabs right back onto Szerzynski wheel, and then tries to rest up after really spiking that heart rate. Now Amblard here out of France here, 7.2 watts per kilogram, right along with, it looks like, Henry. These two are going to be working together to close down an 18-second gap to these front runners. It looks like they're going to work together well right now, as Henry now taking a turn at the front. Now Amblar goes to the front too as well, 3.3 watts per kilogram, 45 miles per hour. Now we are seeing though Plusmer's with Szerzynski here. Plusmer's just sitting on the wheel in that Sagan tuck now, and just getting as much of a rest as he possibly can. Szerzynski doing so as well, 49 miles per hour or so. Now 49 as well, 50 coming from Henry, now 5 watts per kilogram. But Amblar now getting dropped off just a little bit. It's going to have to grab that wheel. As you can see, it is a 4-meter gap. Now he does have that wheel. Is getting a draft, as you can see here. So Szerzynski here with Plusmer's now at the front. 19 seconds is the gap. This is still anybody's race. Plusmer's now kicking it again, though, into 7 watts per kilogram, making sure that that speed stays as high as possible as he sees the gap being closed down between himself and the chasers now. Dropping into that Sagan tuck again, as we do see Szerzynski now up at the front here, tucking in 44 miles per hour. Henry now 42. Let's see what kind of speed that they can get on this downhill section and close something out. What's really going to matter after they hit this 10% negative gradient, there's going to be a positive gradient that's going to be extremely steep, and how many watts per kilogram can they kick over the top of that is going to be a question as to whether or not they can open more of a gap or the gap gets closed down. Plusmer's now kicking at 99 watts per kilogram. Szerzynski staying right along with him, not wanting to get dropped off or anything at this point. Henry now kicking him to 8.9. Will they close down the gap now? 10 watts per kilogram here, 184 beats per minute. Amblard saying that's just too much for me, and Henry might be going off solo at this point. Amblard getting dropped off now. The gap is opening up. There goes Henry as he carried all that speed. That's what matters, is the carrying of speed. They were matched in watts per kilogram. Amblard let his speed drop too much, and Henry getting away now up and over the top here. 13 seconds, 10 seconds. Can he close it down to Plusmer and Szerzynski and still be in it for the win today out on course? Plusmer's here, it looks like, trying to hang on to Szerzynski as they keep on ramping it up. These little sprints are just to keep that speed continuing to rise on these downhills. 7% negative gradient. Henry now holding on to 46 miles per hour. We are seeing 43 here coming from Szerzynski. Henry now 5.0 watts per kilogram, 191 beats per minute right now. This is the battle for first place, boys and girls. If he can close it down, he's in it for the win. Amblard now 5 seconds off the back. Kalen, along with the Innovation Boy, now 2 minutes back from these boys. They're going to be battling it out for that top 5 position still between the two of them. Kalen now kicking up into that 9.3 watts per kilogram. This is that section, of course, that really does matter on the downhill. This little 15-second to 20-second kicker is a serious moment of decision for the race, though. And one of the final climbs, besides the reverse Watopia climb, I believe they will be doing out on course today. Plusmer is here now on the downhill with Szerzynski. Only 7 seconds. He continues to close it down. 6 seconds now. And this boy is on a mission at 190 beats per minute right now, trying to get back on with the front of this race. Szerzynski and Plusmer's, though, resting up, knowing that there's another climb to climb. 157, 144, and the kicks keep coming now. 9 watts per kilogram. Does Henry got what it takes to get into the orange numbers? Already way up into a threshold effort, though. 189 beats per minute right now, 6.9 watts per kilogram or so. Can he have the continuance as Plusmer's and Szerzynski threw down the orange numbers but faded immediately, and Henry's just so consistent here. 3 seconds is the gap. This is it. Now or never, I think. This is that moment where it's a breaking point, I think, here for Henry now, as you see the gap go back out to that 5 seconds or so. Plusmer's now sitting in Henry 4.2. Will he close it down? They're about to end the downhill section. When they hit the flat, actually, that might be the moment for him to kick one last time to try and close it down here. We are seeing here a couple of nice shots from the helicopter. There's the gap. Can he close it down? 4 seconds is all it is. It's now, though, or never, because if these two start working together, 5+ watts per kilogram on the downhill section of the course, they will be gone. Henry's got a kick right now. Plusmer's 3.9, 152. They've got plenty left in the tank. 187 here from Henry now, 6 watts per kilogram. Can he grab onto this wheel? Mark Russell's Burns saying, future of racing when climate change kills the air. Good to see you, Mark Russell. I do think the trainer difficulty should be 100% one racing. Good to hear, Julian Ryder. I wonder how many people do set it there. No way they can force it, though, Julian, but I do agree. Brilliant commentary. Thanks a lot, Julian. Appreciate it. Nora, it would stop them turning them into dumb trainers. Who knows what goes on behind the scenes? That's true, Nora. Who knows? And what an effort here from our Henry. 6.1 watts per kilogram. Is able to get right back on to the wheel here. 3 up front now for the top 3. He goes right on by, actually, here. As, you know, that happens a lot of times. You overestimate what you need to do to grab onto the wheel. And then you go flying right on by, as you were at a higher speed as you came up to the other riders. Not like real life where you have a good estimate of that depth perception, and a lot of times you go flying right on by. Now he's going to try and throw down less wattage to get some reserves, I would think, as he was up into that 190s for quite a long time. Back to the front of this B category race, though, we actually have some things swapping up here. And what I believe has gone off the front. Phillips now has made his way to the front here. As we said earlier, it's all about this tower climb, and he is just about to crest up and over the top of this tower climb here, as you can see from this helicopter shot. And R. Gannon from the BRT is able to hang on. Byline, who was way back, actually, a full on 30 seconds at one point, even more, on the Watopia climb proper here, is now making his way up and over the top here, almost right back at the front with Great Trick now. Brian Great Trick from TRCC, known this rider for a really long time. Nice job to him with it looks like him and Bierline about 10 seconds back from Gannon and Phillips. Wood way off the front at 314, most likely getting an upgrade to Gay, but Phillips here 3.4 watts per kilogram, and it is a 3-second gap. This may be a battle all the way to the finish line between these top four for the win today in that B category. Does look like we do have results up above us. Thank you so much, SwiftPower.com. Got the updates coming through. I believe it was, for some reason, not updated. It doesn't have watts per kilogram in there. I have a feeling for some reason it wasn't updated because it needed a reset, or the watches weren't out there. We'll have to see what's going on with that. But thanks a lot, SwiftPower.com. I think that they were probably alerted to what was going on and were able to fix it for us. Let's go ahead and see what's happened maybe with some A results here as we bring those in above us. So no watts per kilogram, but at least we do see some sort of who is in the top 10 there. Henry Annabelle is saying is in there. Annabelle is in there as well somewhere. Plusmers, Henry, Kalen, McGovern, Fleetwood, Hedgehog, and Chulon coming out of France. So that would be all of them, I believe, are somewhere within the top 10 currently. Henry Szczynski now, though, and Plusmers off the front. Amblard here, only 21 seconds back today out on this pretzel course. What a battle between all of the riders today. I'm going to head on over to the YouTube and see if there are any comments flowing through. As we do see, it looks like Hornet now. Good to see a Hornet over at the... excuse me, sorry, I have to be able to turn off Nathan, my own voice coming through crazy through the YouTube there. But do see that there are a few live chatters over at the YouTube. Thanks for joining in, you guys, over at Zwift Community Live's Twitch as well. It looks like Martin Jortvik actually hanging out, the organizer actually for the SZR race series, a race series that we do cover here on Zwift Community Live. It happens tomorrow at 12 noon tomorrow. So definitely 12 noon CST, Central Standard Time here in the US of A. Looks like Rogers hanging out as well. Good to see you, Rogers. Tobin, good to see you as well. And Juice Train all having a good time. It looks like over at the at the Zwift Community Live Twitch. If you did not know, a couple of things that are coming up. So obviously the SCR races, we're waiting for these boys to hammer it out for this last little bit here. Definitely a few events that you want to pay attention to. SCR tomorrow. Also, I believe it is tomorrow, Paul Sherwin and Phil Liggett will be on Zwift for a group ride at the Amgen Tour of California. So definitely something you want to check out in the events. If you want to check out any of these events, you can always find them on Zwift.com/events. That is the place where they all listed. They're also listed in your Zwift mobile link that you can download, so definitely check them out there as well. Also, the eFondo coming up this weekend. Cycling Tips eFondo. Definitely want to check that out as well. I believe you get a special kit if you do complete it. A great group ride. The last one was absolutely huge. The last eFondo that Zwift had. I think there was like 1,700 racers or riders out there. So you can race, you can ride. It's all about the completion of it, and you get some special in-game kit and stuff, swag for completeness. So definitely want to check that out as well. We do have an XRS race coming up for the CVR event this Thursday. They're giving away a trip, I believe, to London for the winner of that race. So definitely want to jump into that on Thursday. CVR going all in for the London event. A racing. Definitely check out CVR's Facebook as well as their Twitter for a lot of details on that, and show up for the broadcast of that CVR event on Zwift Community Live. Will be on our Facebook as well as our Twitch channel and our YouTube. You're going to want to watch that live because they're giving away a trip to London, boys and girls, for that race in. For more details, make sure to check out CVR though for that. All right, looking here now, we do have Szczynski here. This is the moment of truth now as they make their way on the reverse Watopia climb. It's about a 4-minute climb or so at an all-out effort at the front of the A group, and they will be making their way to the line for the win here. Henry, after that huge effort on that downhill, still up into that 180s, and Strzezinski and Pluzmer is just waiting for this moment to attack, and they are definitely making it sting for Henry here today, as Strzezinski and Pluzmer do immediately get a 4-second gap, and I think it is going to be curtains for Henry now at this point. Pluzmer's now from the Netherlands, now 7 watts per kilogram. Definitely one to watch out for. Has won many a Zwift races here. Strzezinski as well, though, out of Poland, has won a fair share of his own as well. Let's see what's going to open up here on the reverse Watopia climb. 4 minutes, everything you got to the top. I'm going to see what's been happening for these riders recently. Pluzmer's recently, his most recent wins and rides out on Zwift, or races out on Zwift, he actually won the EVR Europe race back on the 10th. About 6 days ago. Got a second place actually in the day before in the XRS ZTR Tuesday night actually last week as well. And also got a win in the WBR Igniter. So definitely somebody to be watching out for the win here today with Strzezinski. But then we do have for Team Poland, it looks like Strzezinski, 141 races out on Zwift. He took a second in the XRS on the 14th 2 days ago, and then a third in the KISS Europe, and then a win actually in the KISS Pedal Power Jersey TT for Strzezinski. So maybe looking for a better result for today, as looks like he hasn't won an all-out open race actually for going on about a half a month or so. So maybe up against Pluzmer's he can pull this off, but Pluzmer's looking really strong and playing this really smart right now out on course today as they make their way on to a few of the climbing sections. On this reverse, that's the thing about the reverse Watopia. It's got a kick at the beginning of it by the what we call the aliens out on course there, and then it does flatten out, and then it kicks again, and it flattens out and kicks again. So there is tactical climb actually. Pluzmer's kicking into that 6 watts per kilogram, 179 beats per minute now. Strzezinski following very closely, 176. The max heart rates then for these riders. The max I've seen from Strzezinski is about a 193, 194 or so recently. For Mr. Pluzmer's here, he does beat into, I believe, the lower mid 180s. So Strzezinski does have a few more beats to work with than Pluzmer's here. So I have a feeling maybe the one to be watching out for. But it's going to be all about a kick to the line if nobody gets dropped off over this reverse climb. Henry now 23 seconds back. Maybe thinking about Omblard closing the gap down as he's got 5.5 watts per kilogram. Henry with that monstrous effort on the downhill, maybe fading a little bit here. 21 seconds up from Omblard right now. He's going to have to hold on to this all the way up and over the top here. He's about halfway through the reverse climb. 30 seconds though, 20 seconds though on this much landscape left is maybe a little too much, but Omblard here still throwing down a solid 5.2. Strzezinski and Pluzmer still all together as they're going to make their way up and over the top through the Lexus KOM banner that has recently been put out there for ATOC, actually, for their Amgen Tour of California. Lots of really cool sponsor banners and icons out on course recently. Really cool to see Zwift partnering with such an awesome race. Here now, as we do see Pluzmer's, though, making his way. We've got a helicopter being mean to me here. As you can do see here, Pluzmer's right with 4.7 watts per kilogram, with Strzezinski now making his way at the front, though. Pluzmer's still sitting in 169 beats per minute. Now, Strzezinski attacking on the downhill, 7.2 watts per kilogram, looking over his shoulder here. Will he open up the gap? He does have a little bit of a gap. 9 watts per kilogram coming from Pluzmer's, making sure it doesn't go much of anywhere, though he's got to hold that wheel to get the most advantage here out on course today. Still holding on that wheel solid, though. We are seeing Dominic saying, Nori, it could be enforced just as other rules are applied to Zwift Power. Yeah, it probably could, actually, as I have a feeling they're able to see some of that information in the background. Strzezinski here, I have a feeling, though, because smart trainers and traditional trainers are used alike, that to enforce it on just people who have smart trainers, it might be kind of odd then. So I don't know, but at the same time, we have that replicated though in other places. That's a good points though, Julian, Nori, and Dominic. Really good points to bring to the racing scene with the community effort we do make here and figuring it out all together. Pluzmer's here, 5.6 watts per kilogram. Now they're resting up a little bit. 175 beats per minute. Who's gonna have the kick to the line? Pluzmer's going really early with 9 watts per kilogram, out fading there, just making sure he's not going much of anywhere. That looks like he's bumping the speed up a little bit and then resting legs, bumping it up a little bit and resting legs. Here goes Szynski though, as they round the corner. This is usually the spot they go from about 400 meters out. Pluzmer's there going now though at 10 watts per kilogram, and Pluzmer's, nobody wants to lead it out. Szynski, then Pluzmer's, Szynski, then Pluzmer's. Nobody willing to lead it out. It's going to be whoever kicks at this point. Pluzmer's 9.7 watts per kilogram. He's got the arrow power up, boys and girls. He's going to be gone. No arrow power for Szynski, and they waited just too long, it seemed like, and Pluzmer's takes it for the win across the line, followed by Szynski. Henry now 30 seconds back. Going to be taking that third place there out there today, followed by Amblard, 32 seconds back from him. Deja vu. I have a feeling that these boys have raced recently against each other. I love the comments there coming through. Amblard now going to be holding down for that 4th place out on course. But you guys, we've got some serious racing heating up right now in this B category, as they are still, in the A category, turned into a little bit of a solo TT effort for quite a few riders. We only had 2 off the front at one point, but look at this. In the B category, we've got a large group of riders here making their way to the reverse Watopia climb, actually. Gannon here at the front, 3.8 watts per kilogram. Brian Graytrick with a solid ride today. Great job to him. Jay Phillips here with Byron as well. Tiago now is falling off the back there. It looks like at 3.4 watts per kilogram or so. Now, so it looks like 138 back. It is going to be Anderson battling it out, it looks like, with Spiridov there coming from the KRT team. Beerline now leading it out here. It's going to be all about the kick up and over the top here of this reverse Watopia climb. Darian McGovern, good to see you hanging out in the broadcast gate commentary. Great race. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your comments very much. Dominic Donaldson, yeah, insane power and stamina by guys who ride 250 kilometers per week. Dominic is saying, good comments. I understand completely there, but solid rides. A lot of times though, it's all about the dynamic power out on Zwift. Definitely. I believe a few of these riders will be getting invites, so we'll wait and see. Hey, Dominic, how things are going to go. Wood, though, it looks like only 54 seconds, actually. Maybe too much, too early. As Byline here with Gannon and Phillips, they might be able to win this outright. As Wood, I don't know what he's put out for watts per kilogram. We'll see it once they do cross the line in the results up above here, though. And it looks like 4.5 watts per kilogram steady, but will these boys have any more of a kick over this reverse Watopia climb? He's got 47 seconds. To make up 47 seconds, though, on this climb, they're going to have to throw down into 5 to 6 watts per kilogram all the way to the Lexus banner, though. So here, Phillips here, 4.5. Bierland, now 4.6. Hanging onto the wheel. Gannon now just hanging on as well. Great trick here, 157 beats per minute again, and 155. Bierland now, no heart rate monitor. Ooh, that's going to sting a little bit maybe with a relegation after the ride. You got to have a heart rate monitor on, I think, in order to win a category. We'll have to wait and see what the race organizers have to say about that, as I am just a commentator. That is not up to me. But Phillips here, 5.5 watts per kilogram. Bierland now hanging on that wheel, but Phillips is kicking and trying to close that gap down. I'm not sure that they're going to see M. Wood, though, again today. In the A category, we do have, it looks like, Magnus. Oh, we lost the A category, boys and girls. We are about to see Team Type 1 take off from the pier. If you didn't know about the pier, this is the pier. This is where you do start an event. We were talking about this earlier. We'll get right back to the B category. Since I am in here, I ended up back at my avatar, and I can't leave this area. Maybe these riders will actually help me get out of this section. If I go ahead and quit the event, I'll be able to see all the riders nearby me, but I am unable to leave here. But this is where you actually start events out on Zwift, and it holds you here on a trainer while you're on your trainer in your pain cave, and then lets you go when the event does start. So I'm going to hang out on one of these riders here. It looks like S. Yaxley coming out of Australia, and she's going to help me get out of the pens here in just a moment. Then we'll be able to jump back into some of the A and C, A, C, and D category. We still do have the B category feed, luckily enough, as we've got a few feeds coming in through here. So we do have Bierlin here now, 3.7 watts per kilogram. They're looking for this finish here real soon, halfway up the reverse Watopia climb. Great Trick has fallen off by 11 seconds. I thought he was going to be in it for the win too, but it looks like 4.3 is what he's got to give to try and close this down. We do have Remy here trying to close it down about 27 seconds, 28 seconds up from Tiago there as well. Phillips now 1 minute up, and oh, suddenly we are way up course. Let's see if we can get back into, there we go. We are back in there. Byron now attacking out of Germany here. 6 watts per kilogram on that little uphill gradient of 4% now, as we see Phillips there able to hang on the wheel. Gannon going right along with from the Bolt Racing team, the BRT team, as you can see, not using the BRT kit though, unless they change kits. Usually they are in the Power Tap kit that they have adopted here, but the BRT boy here is hanging in the wheel. Phillips, it is 3 for this sprint finish today. So what is the predictions here for the B category, boys and girls? Will it be Phillips? Will it be Byerland? Will it be Gannon for the win today? Let me know what your prediction is over at the Facebook, over at the Twitch, over at the YouTube. I am following right along with Johan Wallstrom saying SCR hype, as he is a part of the SCR team. I believe the SC, the Swedish team. Good to see you, Johan, hanging out over at the Twitch channel. And we are seeing Juice Train still hanging out as well. Juice Train, looked like you had a really good race this morning. That is Ian Anderson. He does broadcast also his racer focus. Once in a while we have, once a week or maybe more, we have racer focus streams actually, where we just have their perspective. What with the Zwift on board look of it, where I'm sitting and they're racing, putting out that effort, and you get to watch what it looks like for somebody to race out on Zwift with their real life effort in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, and all of the awesomeness that goes down from a pain cave live. So looks like for predictions here, what do you think? We do have as up on over the top. They were all able to stay together. Phillips, Gannon, and Byerland. Who is going to have the kick? We may be able to bring in some information actually for that as the riders make their way to the line. We are seeing Phillips, it looks like here. Let's bring up a few of these riders' past results. So as we bring these in, we are seeing, it looks like Jeff Phillips coming from the United States here. His max 15 seconds is only in the 500s or so. Maybe, oh, actually, no, I'm sorry here. I'm seeing 790. So going to be a tough day for him, maybe, as I have a feeling a few Marcus Bierlein here might have a better, actually, no, 15 second here, 695. So, and then from Richard Gannon here out of the UK, let's go ahead and see where his max is at, 597. They're all fairly equal, actually, between each other for their sprint efforts, actually. So as far as just raw wattage goes, they're fairly evenly matched. It's going to be all about who gets the first kick, I think, and who's got the most matches left in the legs, as they are all really, really evenly matched for their best 15-second power today. So we are seeing Matthew Burton saying only if everyone was running the same gearing. That is true as well. Matthew Burton, I think you're right on there. Has Wood finished yet? I think Wood has gotten across the line. I think he may be getting an upgrade today. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, no, 3.9 watts per kilogram. He kept it within category limits. Excuse me. Sorry, M. Wood. This entire time, I was saying it's usually based on your 20-minute power, though. I have a feeling you did over 4 watts per kilogram on your 20-minute there. But he kept it within category limits for the race, so we'll unofficially say that he did win the race. So this is a sprint for second place at this point, as we've got Beerline. We got actually there an early power-up coming from Jay Phillips as he throws down that drafting power-up. It's going to be about who kicks now at this point and has the strongest kick right now. They're waiting right to the line. Nobody seems to have any effort left for orange numbers at this point, though. And it's just going to be Beerline just kind of cruising across the line. 4.9 watts per kilogram. Gannon trying to go at 6, but They just stroll across the line, beer line, followed by Gannon, and then Phillips, TRCC here. Great Trick had the kick, but wasn't with him. What was that all about, boys and girls? Great Trick with a solid effort there across the line for 5th place. And it looks like it's going to be beer line cruising across the line. Maybe there was a little conversation or something about who was going to do what and whether or not they were going to battle to the line there, but solid effort between the riders. It looks like we do have a few other in the B category just making their way to the line here as we do bring them in. D Fowler about 5 seconds up, it looks like, from Tiago now. And then quite a few others here a little ways back from that, still making their way up and over the top of the reverse Watopia climb, as things do definitely get really spread out on course whenever we do the mountain climb. And Nori Throw is saying that Wood was on a recovery ride with a smiley. Love the smiley face there, Nori, for sure. And slowest sprint effort, David Williams is saying over at the Twitch channel. That was definitely an interesting sprint for sure. Fuller now, 4.8 watts per kilogram. Just able to hold off, it looks like, Mr. Tiago, but will be Anderson here just a little ways up from him, just crossing the line under the Amgen Tour California banner as Fuller throws down his last power up, able to hold off Tiago to the line. Jay Kerr now, it looks like, making a crazy strong effort here back in the B category, somewhere outside of the top 20, I believe, trying to close it down to Barlow right now, 2 seconds up from him. So Jay Kerr with a solid effort here, 1 second back from Barlow. M. Brown here up toward the upper, I believe, top 15 or so. I would believe in this B category, just about to come up and over the top of the climb as well. All right, let's go ahead and see what happened with the A results while we wait for these boys to make their way to the finish line. I think boys and girls, actually. I think Luis Robinson from the BRT here making a solid effort, actually. I think this may be one of the first women riders out on course here, making her way to the line with a solid effort in the B category at the solid 3.7 watts per kilogram. We'll go ahead and give her a ride on. She does have the Queen of the Mountain on the Epic as well with her efforts out here today. All right, for the A category results there today, these are provisional results, remember, for the KISS Europe. So it is definitely up to the race organizers to make final results, but it will be Joachim Pluters, followed by Peter Szynski, and then Rob Henry. Rob, we will get nipped at 5.0 watts per kilogram. Make sure to check in with Zada. I have a feeling they will be asking you a few questions. Nicholas Amblard, followed by Tom O'Kaland. Nice job to the top 5, followed by the rest through the top 15, as you can see. In the B category currently, as there are still a few of them making their way to the line, you will be able to see here Matt Wood, followed by Marcus Beerline, then Richard Gannon, Jeff Phillips, and Brian Greatrick. We saw all those boys make their way to the line. I believe Remy, then Vegan Power there, 3.5 watts per kilogram with Edgar's Spiritnov, followed by Anderson. I believe they have already crossed the line. Yes, they definitely have. Then it will be rounding out the top 10, David Fuller and Daniel Tiago in that B category. Still probably quite a few C and D category riders making their way to the line. We can see what their results are currently out on course. It will be Treasury, followed by Lidget, and then E. Stewart, Lumsden, and C. Sims. That's the current, I believe, order that they are in right now. Amongst the D category riders that are still making their way to the line, we do not have feeds for them. We'll see if we can find them out on course for you. It will be W. White, B. Rowell, S. Francis, W. O'Reilly, and I. Thompson still out there hammering away. Amongst the women, let's go ahead and see what was, if any women are out on course hammering away. Looks like Lewis Robinson is leading it out, and I believe she will be the solo finisher. I have Jay Denny, and I believe Giannis for Vision, I think, just maybe signed up but was unable to. Maybe she's out on course still. 180 beats per minute. Looks like she did start. We just don't have a watts per kilogram. So it does look like she did start, as there is 180 beats per minute there, as Giannis is training for the upcoming London event, I believe. So definitely watch out for that. Let's go ahead and see what our lead woman rider is out on course, making her way to the line. Oh, sorry about that. There she is on the downhill now, about a minute 5 back from Tom Thomas and Aker here. Let's go ahead and see what the battle is to the line here with Kerr and Barlow as we wait for Louise to make her way to the line to win the women's race outright. It does look like Jonas is a little ways back then too from her, with coming out of Canada about 7:03 back from Kerr right now. 4.4 watts per kilogram coming from Kerr here. About 4 seconds up from Barlow. Was able to catch Barlow on that uphill and get away from this group that's chasing him down. Who's going to go first? These boys are waiting way too long for these jumps. It looks like Barlow is just going to lead it out with Zailikman there out of USA, nipping him right at the line there, followed by Thomas, then Aker. Will be Luis Robinson from the BRT. Does have that BRT kit on, the one we were talking about, that Power Tap kit. Orange, white, and gray. Solid effort here from her for the W. We are seeing Tobin over there saying, Martin, we'll leave that comment alone. Martin Jortvik saying 4 laps Watopia Hilly reverse tomorrow for SCR Summer Racing Series, and we will see you there tomorrow for sure. Martin, thanks a lot for the information. We'll definitely get all on the promotions for that. And Julian Ryder still hanging out, it looks like. Good to see your comments. And Nori, Julian, Matthew, all you guys, I really appreciate all your comments throughout the day and the race today. Great to have you guys having a conversation about making the platform awesome. Luis Robinson now, your winner in the women's event, actually. Abe Bullivant now making his way to the line here, about 41 seconds up from Jay Weirdy. It looks like Weirdy in no man's land as well a little bit here, trying to be chased down by Anna Boost, as well as a Young about 1 second back. Actually, a solid group here chasing him down. Young now 4.0 watts per kilogram here chasing down Boost, and then Weirdy able to hold that off. 7 seconds is probably plenty of a gap. As we look over his shoulder, you can see what the gap is there. Definitely enough to hold off Boost, but Boost probably not going to be able to have the boost to hold off Young and Waters. We do see BJ Alfonso there from Team PTZ trying to catch Termont there, about 18 seconds back from this group. But this is going to be the sprint to the line, it looks like here. Roden coming right on by. Actually, Young is going to be the one to win to the line. Roden, though, with the arrow power up. It's going to be Waters, though, with 10 watts per kilogram to give from that TFC group. And TFC going to be taking this sprint, not for the win today, but for a solid result amongst that pack. Boost now the last one across the line behind Young. BJ Alfonso came by Termont flying at 5 watts per kilogram. Looks like Termont from Vision Cycling is going to have to suffer the loss to BJ Alfonso. I know that those two definitely battle it out a lot out on course in the B category. The Sox making their way across the line. Glad we got the Sox here. Everybody needs those. S Street now from the KRT team, giving us some look into the reverse climb now still as he's out on course here. AW Otto now giving us a look a little further up with C. Mayhew. We are looking for Mortimer from the TFC there as well. I am looking for second place. It will be Janice Denning here. Solid ride for her. Looks like she has Knights of Sufferlandia and Vision in the name there. I know that she has been completing a lot of the Knights of Sufferlandia for her training, but has recently taken on Zwift Racing specifically as part of her training. 181 beats per minute, currently out on course as the second woman, I believe. Sitting in second place. I believe that's where she will be finishing today. Solid result for her. She is training for, I believe, the London event, the CVR London event, happening on June 6th. Rides that are in races and events that are coming up as we wait for second place here to come across the line, and a few more of the B category riders. Again, if you're just tuning in, we went over a few of these, but the rest of this week, it's going to be the SCR race tomorrow at noon on Zwift Community Live. If you haven't followed Zwift Community Live's Facebook or Twitch channel, make sure to do that. You can get live notifications sent to you on from Twitch to your email, as well as push notifications to your mobile. As well as if you hit the follow button and like button for the Zwift Community Live Facebook, you can also get notifications there. So again, tomorrow, SCR. Noon, and then I believe the Paul Sherwin and Phil Liggett ride will be broadcast as well, live stream tomorrow as well, so definitely want to check that out. You can find those events obviously through the Zwift mobile link in eventzwift.com/events as well, or when you log into Zwift, you can find the results if they're upcoming in the next few hours. And then on Thursday, we've got a lot of stuff going on. Jesper is going to be out of town, and so I'm going to be covering the first race. I believe it is the Mountain East race. It is 4 a.m. for me, so I got an early wake up or a really late night, one of the two. But I'll be covering the Aussie E-Crit Series on Thursday morning. So definitely want to tune in for that, especially if you're from the Australia, New Zealand area. You can get a chance to be a part of the live event at the end of the E-Crit series. So definitely jump in for that. We also have the eFondo this weekend, the Cycling Tips eFondo this weekend. Definitely something you want to check out as well. So lots and lots of events coming up. We also have got the women's gateway ride on Thursday night with Zuskana. Definitely something you want to check out. It's about a 1.5 watt per kilogram ride, all about introductory to group riding and women's introductory to group riding out on Zwift. Zuskana does a great job of interacting with chat, keeps the high energy the whole time. She also has workout introduction to workout out on Zwift that she does on Friday nights as well, and that is 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, USA. Great job to Jonathan. She makes her way to the line here for second place today in the women's category. Followed closely, it looks like, by C. Mayhew for the B category as well. All right, again, real quick, we went through results once already, but let's just do it real quick again before we end the broadcast today. Again, this is your A category provisional results. Joachim Plusmers, Peter Szynski, and Rob Henry. That's your top three, followed by the rest in the top 15, as you can see there. Shout out to McGovern and Steve Fleetwood. Solid ride between them. Sonic the Hedgehog, Tebow there, and rounding out that top 10. I know those boys were battling it out over the top. Alessandro, Tom O'Kalin, those boys as well, able to hold off in those solo TT efforts that they did for the duration of the race. In the B category, then, let's go ahead and see what's happening here for the provisional results. There it is. Matt Wood, Marcus Barlin, Richard Gannon, Marcus Barlin. What an effort there, coming from way behind. Jeff Phillips and then Brian Gretrick rounding out that top 5. Nice job to them, as well as the rest of the top 15 there today. In the C category, then, let's go ahead and see where the results currently stand. And it looks like we do have James Chardray, followed with an upgrade, 4.5 watts per kilogram, and then it will be Dan Litigate, Aben Swart, and then Campbell Sims for your top 3 so far today. Some of the D-riders most likely still making their way to the line. We can see where they're standing at, though. It will be, this is your top 3 today: W. White, B. Rowell, and then it will be S. Francis, followed by W. O'Reilly. For the women's results, then, we did see them just come across the line. Solid effort there from the Bolt Racing team with Luis Robinson, 3.3 watts per kilogram, followed by Jonas Denning for Vision Cycling there. Solid rides all around. I think Ebeline did not have a start, as we did not get a heart rate coming through. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the broadcast, make sure to head on over to Zwift Community Live's Facebook. It is linked in the Zwift Facebook title of this broadcast. So you just click on that and head on over there, hit that like button, that follow button to get notifications anytime that we go live. Push notifications. The best way to do that is to head on over to our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Zwift Community Live. You can follow us on Twitter as well at ZCommunityLive for updates whenever we go live and things. So, as always, great job to all the riders, and we'll see you tomorrow for the SCR race series, as well as the Paul and Phil ride with the Amgen Tour of California. Cheers, everybody, and ride on.